May 2011, shortly after midnight, Dan Saunders stands at the window of a five-star hotel and stares down at the flashing red and blue lights bathing the street below him in flickering light. His hands tremble uncontrollably as the sirens echo off the buildings and draw closer with every second. 4 months ago, he was a penniless bartender in a sleepy small Australian town, and now he has squandered $1.6 million on private jets to Bali, penthouse suites, and champagne that costs more than a car. And it all started with a glitch at an ATM. Every night at exactly 1 a.m., the banking system went blind, and Dan learned to navigate this darkness without leaving a trace. But tonight, the lights outside don't fade, and when there is a knock at the door, he knows the bill might finally be due. How could a perfectly ordinary 29-year-old bartender manipulate a bank system without touching a single line of code? And how long can you run from such a massive debt before it catches up with you? February 2011, Wangaratta, Australia. Dan pushes through the sticky door of a pub at closing time, slightly drunk, almost broke, and invisible to everyone except the bartender waiting for a tip he can barely afford. The town lies in that peculiar silence known only to small country towns. Streetlights buzz over deserted streets. He walks to an ATM, hoping to withdraw enough for a taxi home. At midnight, he inserts his worn debit card. The screen flashes, balance currently unavailable. For a fraction of a second, he sees a number, $342. Then it disappears. He knows there is barely anything left in the savings account. Curious and fueled by liquid courage, he tries to transfer $200 from his credit account to the nearly empty savings account. Transaction canceled. No receipt, no money. Most people would leave now, but Dan doesn't. He inserts the card again and selects to withdraw $200 from the savings account. The machine whirs and cash slides out. He freezes, counts it once, then again. It's real. Above him, a red security light blinks, but there's no alarm, no security guards, only the quiet mechanical hum of the machine and the pounding of his heart. He stuffs the money into his pocket, goes back to the bar, orders another round, and says nothing, even though something inside him has irreversibly changed. Then, on the way home, curiosity wins, and he tries it again. Transfer, then withdraw. $500. The machine spits it out, then $600. Even more cash. Alone under flickering streetlights, Dan stands there and laughs out loud. It feels impossible, like he's discovered a cheat code hidden in reality. That night he comes home with over $1,000 in his wallet, firmly convinced the bank will notice in the morning. But morning comes, and nothing happens. Sunlight slices through his blinds, and for a moment he convinces himself it was all just a drunken hallucination, until he sees the thick stack of bills on his nightstand. He checks his account. $2,000. The money was posted. Technically, he is in the negative, but the system hasn't flagged it. No calls, no blocked account. In that moment, an idea takes shape. If the ATM goes offline between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., it perhaps cannot check balances in real time, and maybe transfers made during this window exist temporarily before the system corrects them later. And if that's true, he could offset the previous day's negative balance with a larger fake transfer the next night, and repeat this cycle over and over again. That night, at exactly 1 a.m., he tests it. He transfers $4,000 from a credit account that doesn't have $4,000 in it. The machine accepts it. He withdraws $2,000, and the next day, there is no call, only an even higher negative balance waiting to be cleared. So he keeps going. $8,000, $16,000. Night after night, the amounts grow as he steps into this silent window where the banking system seemingly blinks for a moment. One evening, the ATM freezes mid-transaction and swallows his card for an agonizing 30 seconds before spitting it back out as if nothing happened. 2 weeks later, he walks into a bank branch and a teller casually mentions that his savings balance is over $1 million, 7 figures. On paper, Dan Saunders is a millionaire. He steps out into the sunlight, his pulse pounding. He could stop now, settle his debts, and quietly disappear. But the thrill is intoxicating, and he doesn't stop. Over the next 5 months, Dan blows through roughly $1.6 million. For a weekend getaway, he charters a private jet to Bali, and when the pilot asks how a bartender can afford this lifestyle, he casually answers, crypto, because after all, everyone believes in crypto. He books luxury villas overlooking the ocean, entire floors in 5-star hotels and in nightclubs. He drops $50,000 in a single evening, ordering bottle after bottle of top-tier champagne while the staff treats him like a king. The money transforms him. People who used to ignore him now lean in closer. Strangers suddenly remember supposedly going to school with him, and respect accompanies him into rooms he was never invited into before. He doesn't just spend the money on himself, he pays for a friend's entire university education, pays off another's student loans, and settles debts for people who barely know him, discovering in the process that giving money away triggers almost the same rush as spending it. Yet every night at 1 a.m., he continues to perform his ritual: transfer, withdraw, restart the illusion. He lies to his family with stories of lucrative investments and profitable real estate deals, lies to his friends, and lies to himself. One evening, a close friend grabs him by the wrist in a bar and says quietly, "I know what you're doing. You're going to end up in prison." Those words echo long after the friend has left. By the end of spring, the rush has turned into paralyzing fear. Dan startles at every shadow and dreams of police lights outside his window. His hands tremble incessantly, and every morning he Googles his name alongside the words arrest and fraud. Nothing. The bank occasionally calls, not about theft, but to confirm luxury charges. "Did you spend $8,000 at a luxury hotel?" they ask. "Yes, that was me." Dan sighs into the phone. "All right, no problem. We just wanted to check." The absurdity is no longer funny. He is exhausted, paranoid, ashamed, and in June 2011, he finally stops. One night, he skips the transfer and leaves it to the system to correct itself. Instantly, his account balance plunges into the negative millions, and the illusion shatters. He calls his bank manager. "I tried to confess," but the response is brief and unmistakable. "Sir, this is now a matter for the police. Thank you." And he waits for sirens that don't come. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. Eventually, he realizes that something even worse is happening than an immediate arrest. They are building a case against him. 2 years pass without a knock on his door, and the uncertainty wears on him more than a prison ever could. In 2013, he forces a resolution by reaching out to a major newspaper and revealing everything. The bartender who exploited a midnight glitch at an ATM becomes known nationwide and even appears on television to explain how he did it. This time, the authorities react and charges are filed against him. In court, even the prosecutor finds it difficult to explain how he supposedly stole money that, technically speaking, didn't even exist yet. Dan pleads guilty. The sentence is 1 year in prison, followed by 18 months of probation and conditions. He serves his time and ultimately returns behind the bar for $20 an hour. One day, a customer recognizes him and says, "You're that ATM guy, aren't you?" He presses a $20 bill into his hand and adds, "That's the best tip you'll ever get? Money that I actually earned myself." Both laugh. No more penthouses, no private jets, no midnight rituals, just a completely normal life. For 5 months, Dan lived like a king off a system glitch, and in the end, the system corrected itself. The true price wasn't just the money, but the realization of how easily temptation can change a person and how hard it is to live with the silence after the sirens have stopped.